We hope that this session inspires you to share your stories. So my name is Brett. I am the Vice President for the Wisconsin Youth Leadership Forum. I am a volunteer for UW Hospital. I'm a power of attorney witness on Mondays and Thursdays. I have done several different projects through the Arc of Dane County and several different things. Right. I just recently applied to be on the advisory council for um, family care and DHS. So I don't know if I've been accepted yet. We'll see if that application gets accepted. The deadline for the application was November 1st. So we will see probably sometime in November whether or not I'm officially on. But that's a little bit of background about me. So
A little bit of background about me is I work for the ARC Wisconsin and People First Wisconsin. I'm also on BPDD board, and I'm on a WISPAC board, and I'm on the non-driver transportation committee. And I just do a lot of advocacy in general. The next bit is we're gonna do an icebreaker. I'm gonna let someone in the room pick a card, and then we're gonna have everyone answer. Who wants? I keep forgetting this. Who wants to pick a card and then, all right. Keep forgetting.
Yep.
All right. So the card he picked is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? So who wants to answer that question? Chad?
Never give up and keep advocating for what you believe in.
That's great advice, Chad. Who else wants to answer that question? What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Yes, Gano? That's another great piece of advice.
Always believe in yourself.
That's a great piece of advice.
So we're always like a puzzle because we all fit together and we all belong together.
That's cool. I hadn't thought of that way.
I just want to know help others or for the staff members too.
Anyone else have a good piece of advice?
I'm Carl Peterson of Dot Silver. I work at the YMCA. I've had 2 jobs. Interview person 2 in the YMCA. Interview person 2.
That's awesome.
Believe in yourself. Don't give up.
Yeah. Let's see.
Be happy.
That's good advice.
No matter how hard it gets, keep on trying and keep on wishing. What better way of life? Yeah.
I believe everyone should have their own independence and constitutional rights to do whatever they want.
That's great advice. Let's see. Anyone else?
one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever been given is to make sure that you give other people credit. Don't always be the center of attention. and it's it's okay to be the center of attention once in a while, but you don't constantly want to live in that state of mind.
That's great advice, Brett. So, who are you? We want to know who you are in this room. Are you a self-advocate, direct support professional? Do you work for an organization? Are you a teacher or are you a student? You want me to go around the room? Okay.
I work for an organization. I work for Iris.
That's awesome. Who are you? Are you a self-advocate? Or
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I am.
who are you?
Hey.
Are you a self-advocate?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Who are you?
Hesitant.
Yeah.
I am a self-advocate.
That's awesome. Hey, Dan. Who are you?
I'm a self-advocate too.
Who are you?
I'm a student.
It's awesome. Who are you?
I'm a teacher.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I'm an advocate for family care participants.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I work for Inclusa.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I work for BPDD.
You guys are amazing. Who are you?
I'm a friend.
That's awesome. Who are you?
Oh, my name is John, and I just I like to work, help camp for staff and staff for everything.
That's awesome. Who are you?
Scott Peterson.
Are you a self-advocate?
Yes, yeah.
Who are you? Are you a self-advocate? Do you work for an organization? Teacher, student?
Self-advocate.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I'm an advocate, caregiver, mother.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I'm Janice, advocate. Work for my daughter.
Who are you?
Self-advocate.
That's awesome.
Let's see, mother, caregiver, self-advocate.
Just same old mom.
Who are you?
Self-advocate. My name is Kyle.
Back here. Who are you?
I am I'm a direct sports professional and a self-advocate as well.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I'm an advocate, researcher, you name it, I do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I am a parent and retired teacher.
That's awesome. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Gaynell. I'm a parent and a care provider.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I'm a self-advocate.
Who are you?
I'm a nurse with Iris.
Awesome.
I'm Stacy. I'm a self-advocate and I'm also a daycare teacher.
Awesome. Who are you?
I'm a good friend.
That's awesome. Who are you?
I'm a self-advocate.
Who are you?
Efren.
Who are you?
I'm a woman on the go.
Who are you?
Direct support professional with an organization.
Who are you?
Self-advocate.
That's awesome. I know who you are. Want to take it next? So, you want to start?
Who do you want? Who do you want to tell your story to? Is it legislatures? Is it students? Is it teachers? Is it friends? Is it family? Is it there's multiple people you can tell your story to. So and depending on who you tell your story to, kind of changes the details and changes what you're willing to share. Sometimes it's important to know when to find that balance between sharing too many details and sharing not enough details.
That's great, Brett. Yeah, sometimes when you present to a different group of people, you share a different story about yourself. Sometimes I do presentations on plain language. I may share a different story than I do when I talk about storytelling. It just all depends on who's in your audience. That's kind of why on the last slide I asked who you are, so we can kind of gauge our audience. So some different parts of a story are like a conflict or a challenge that might be going on in someone's life. Character, that would be either you or someone you're telling a story about. Actions, what actions you need to take to get the story going or figure out the solution to the problem that's happening. And solutions. You want to say? You don't have to. All right. You want to do this one?
So Pixar has a story spine, and if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, it's actually a pretty cool little structure that they use. They follow a it starts with a few questions. And it starts with once upon a time, there was something, and then you just gotta kind of like make it up as you go, and kind of there's not really anything to follow, so you can kind of fill in whatever you need, whatever you want to put in there. And then it goes down and continues to ask more and more questions. And then so like the next day, your particular character might do something, or you might do something that advances the story to the next slide. And then you can just keep going until one day, and then something changes. So there's lots of different and then there's just lots of different things you can do. And then you kind of want to follow up with what comes after the until one day. So you want to say something to the effect of just you just kind of want to follow that flow and make sure that you kind of fill in the spaces. And I think we're gonna have you practice that a little bit. So we'll kind of walk you through how to follow that structure. But it can be a very effective way to um, tell a story. Yeah. In fact, we can. We're gonna have you practice it now, and then we'll come around the room and we'll help you with creating the story structure, and some of it could be something that's happened in your personal lives that you want to create a story out of. It could be a completely made up character that you could just come up with, and doesn't have to be serious, doesn't have to be, it can be funny, there can be some humor in there, but it's an important way to tell a story. It's not the only way, there are many ways, but it can be very important.
Yeah, so the story spine is like a fun way to write out your story. It's just one of the many ways to do it. It's kind of one of the ways Disney does it, and so people kind of recognize the pattern. So I mean, even if you don't want to write it out, you can talk it through with the people at your table, or we'll also come around and help people. Because like, you when you think of like a Disney or Pixar movie, think of, well, once upon a time something happened. And then every day until one a day, and then that's kind of like the climax, like something big happens until one day somebody help me. Talk to Iris or Family Care. And because of that, then my life got better or something. Something like that.
So it's just a very unique way and fun way, and we kind of thought it would be something interactive for you guys to participate in, so you kind of get a feel for how the story spine works. I actually did a really creative story through social media. I was just sitting there one day and I happened to come up with that kind of off the top of my head. I was trying to follow the um, story spine, trying to follow the structure. Um, and you don't necessarily have to follow each of the structures to a T. You can skip parts of the structure. You can skip parts of the structure if it doesn't fit within the story. But yeah, we just want you to get a feel for how that process works.
So feel free to talk with the people at your table or write it down, or we'll come around. Whatever is most accessible to you guys. Feel free to use that format.
What?
I don't. I guess I can. Does that help? People are enjoying talking with the table. But if you want to go around, I just figured they might talk to each other.
They can kind of talk to each other, and then if they need help, we'll jump in and.
Yeah. I keep forgetting about the microphone.
That's all right.
I'm used to it.
That's all right.
I'm gonna get rid of this card.
What?
But I just put it up to the card, we're not using, like the card that. It ended up being a good place.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of questions. We have 50 minutes, so it's a good halfway point, I guess.
Yeah, especially considering we don't have the worksheets, we can kind of get them to. Is this on?
I think it's an honor.
Okay. If you guys need help, feel free to ask and we'll come around and we'll help you if needed. Otherwise, feel free to continue doing what you're doing. I'm not used to home microphones either.
Yeah, I'm used to holding them, but I'm like, it's easier with two.
Yeah.
That's why I asked Phil to make sure it was two. I get she's busy though. She's probably running around if you know things. Plus, I thought I was in the other room.
You know Phil. She.
It'll be good to more about for this afternoon when you're sold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still probably easier than mine.
Huh?
Still probably easier than mine.
Yeah.
Give everyone like till 11:20.
Okay.
I guess. They seem like they're talking. If they did.
Yeah. If they seem like they're
They sound like they're
engaging and
clear.
yeah.
Yeah, we're with artists too.
Oh, had it for me.
Oh, yeah.
Probably new to you.
Completely. You know, I used to speak to a class of high school students when I was in high school, but this is totally different. And I'm sure as you do it, yes.
I have more to hold, but I figured one deck would probably be easier than trying to.
Yeah, that's
Cause the other one's more of like worker type, and this is just like general icebreakers.
yeah.
So I think the worker type. win.
Where do you keep like? Where do you get stuff like that? Like,
Well, Devin.
oh, from
You can get on the site, just look up icebreaker cards, that type of thing. That- You can buy them on Amazon. And they're nice. Random things that are helpful.
I get it.
I need to find it. And I need to get my food shot.
When? Oh my God. You're not gonna be Miserable lady.
My mom wants me to do it, and it's like, I'm not paying for it. It's free here.
Oh,
Yeah. I'll leave with me.
Huh?
I have a leave with me, so if I don't pay or something.
yeah. Yeah. The only. 4 minutes. The only reason I get my flu shot is because I volunteer at UW. That's it. Otherwise, I wouldn't get any.
Just figure what happens.
Yeah.
Having COVID this summer, I was like, well, I really need it. She's like, "Might as well." This is a booster. We'll figure it out later. I saw the booster, and I'm like, I'm not gonna work with Brian. That's real great.
At least your voice and everything came back.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought about like my presentation later this afternoon, going through and handing out, just putting a bunch of them, business cards on the table. Or somebody putting them on the table. But like, they're gonna have to know that,
It doesn't.
no, I'm.
I mean, if I get a random text that says hi, I think I can.
Yeah, I suppose. You can,
You just don't really.
you can direct them the right way, but I know, if I had to call you, like, this is the only time I would call you, cause, yeah. I know you don't. No, I know you don't.
Then I feel like there's lunch and then like a break and like a session. Am I right? I didn't really memorize that.
I don't know. I know lunch is noon. I don't, but I don't. And I left the book upstairs. I didn't really,
I just don't want to put it all right on.
I didn't care about, I didn't care about, bringing the bag, cause it's a lot to carry. So I looked at the book, I'm like, okay, which sessions,
15 minutes before you're done. In case you need something.
yeah. I'm like, which sessions, do I have to, which sessions do I have to be at and where? And that's all I care about.
Okay, you want to call it?
All right. So how was the, yeah, go ahead.
All right. How was everyone's table talk discussion? Did you enjoy thinking about how to do the 7 steps? That's good to hear. Oops. All right. To zoom back out. There we go. All right. So details. How many details should you tell when you're telling your story? So a good measure is enough to paint a picture, but not too many to bore your audience. It's important to highlight the conflict or what is going wrong. So that way you can focus on the solution. You want to say?
This can be I know for me it's um it was sometimes hard to determine who to tell details to and who not to at times in my life. I actually participated in an art of storytelling class that the ARC put on, and that actually really helped me kind of concise my story and kind of, you know, learn who I could tell the details to and who I couldn't. So it can be a very tricky and challenging thing to navigate through.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's always good to let people know enough details so they understand what's going on. But if you do too many details, they might get bored and just stop listening. That's just human nature sometimes happens. Let's see. So we're gonna do another activity to keep everybody entertained. So who would like to pick another card? All right, we're gonna go with Dan.
It was a good one, I hope.
Pick one. Oh, we liked yours. We're just doing another one.
Huh?
Let's see. I'm gonna put these down. So I can read. So he picked, when you think about adventures in your childhood, what memory comes to mind? So think about it for a minute or so, and then I will go around and ask people. Is that a good one? Everybody has childhood memories. That's with storytelling. So just a reminder, the question is, when you think about adventures in your childhood, what memory comes to mind? There's not enough room for the water. I wouldn't want to be responsible for that problem. Probably be PDD. What's the password is conference 2023. They put the password right on my computer. Not the wisest idea. Should I make people answer or let them? I will let them say pass, right? If they want to pass, they can have that option.
Yeah, they can pass.
Just because maybe people don't have childhood memories. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go around the room and then you can tell everyone when you think about adventures in your childhood, what memory comes to mind? And you have the option to pass if you want to pass. You don't have to say anything, just to let you know.
Sure. Climbing the fence when I was 2 years old. Chain link fence.
That sounds like fun. Your mom says it wasn't.
Playing in the hay mound in my great uncle's barn, back on the farm when I was growing up.
That sounds like some good adventures. What about you?
Going behind my grandparents' yard and having my own.
That sounds fun. What about you? Any childhood adventures?
Okay, I know it's not story time, but I think it's story time for me. What's your story? I went to Florida for my birthday one year, and I got all these. I went on all these rides, and then I get to skip school. That was my favorite part, not going to school. And I also love school, so I don't know what was. I love music class. I like.
Well, thank you. Do you have a childhood memory story?
Yes. I'm very adventurous. Yeah. Something that I would posted in myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any adventurous childhood memories?
Going to Indiana for Thanksgiving, see all my family.
That's fun. What about you?
Traveling to Colorado and Florida.
That's fun.
I was fortunate enough to travel to about 25 different states in the US, plus I've been to Mexico 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Moving across the country several times and seeing lots of different places.
That's cool.
Traveling to Arkansas with a bunch of my cousins in an RV and camping and jumping off 40-foot high cliffs.
Wow. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Going to the Spam Museum in Austin, Minnesota.
Wow, that is adventurous.
I had a lot of camping trips growing up, and then I even got to dress up as Yogi Bear one time.
Oh, wow.
A little bit closer, Sydney. Okay.
Say the overwhelming theme that came to mind at this table was challenges. I have challenges as a person with a disability, but I also had some challenges in my personal life. And I wouldn't be here with the help and support of some wonderful people I've met and the friends that I've met encouraging me to advocate and get out of my shell that I was in. I was very scared to speak out and speak up for a very long time. And one day I just got the courage and said, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't good for me. And I spoke up. And here I am with all you amazing advocates and doing all this wonderful stuff that I never thought I would do. Thank you.
Well, when I think about childhood adventures, what comes to mind is we was very simple. We didn't have toys and phones and technology like we do. We ran around and chased pigs. That was my entertainment. We'd let the pigs go purposely so we could chase them.
All right. What about you? Some adventurous childhood memories.
So when I think of adventures, I think to vacations, and our vacations tend to be, we were happy to be on them, but as a family, we had a lot of anxiety, my sister and I. So, we both have autism, we both have anxiety. My sister's OCD, so it was usually more anxiety provoking. I think my favorite adventures have been just in the home, just hanging out and watching movies and laughing and making jokes and just every day, being silly. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just family trips we've done and making it happen, even with being in a chair. And yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Any adventurous childhood memories?
Yeah. East in Mexico is pretty bad right now. East in Mexico are bad, but a lot of people die for the adoptions too. Yeah.
All right. And
All this. I got B, help, staff, camp on the way, staff, can't talk, do the sign language. I don't know how I've been on there. My friends want all music, balls, sore, work.
that's awesome. Any adventurous childhood memories?
I was a weird kid.
That's okay.
Sit on the curb. I used to sit on the curb with a stick and 9 leaves up and count them. So I would, at the end of the day, I would just sit on that curve for like hours with leaves, different types of leaves, different color leaves, you know. That was me. Jumping double dutch.
I bet it was fun though. I bet it was fun.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think about that now. I say, that was the craziest thing. That was crazy.
Any adventurous childhood memories?
No.
Okay.
Trouble. Growing up, all brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, that was enough right there.
Well, her. Let's see.
I like to sign stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which book or for the sign language book, cause I like to go to school for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sign language is important. Any adventurous childhood memories?
I'm going to pass on this.
Okay. Any adventurous childhood memories?
Playing volleyball when I was a kid.
It's fun. What about you?
We had the most amazing snow hills. So sledding, we would be outside for hours and hours.
That sounds fun too. It is Wisconsin.
Going to Holy Hill.
Oh,
Where's that?
That's in, I think you put it.
any adventurous childhood memories?
Yeah, I would have to say with my siblings sneaking over into our neighbor's cow pasture and stomping in the creek.
Oh, that sounds very entertaining. You.
Going to amusement park all the time, riding like rides when watching like see like animals and riding animals like horses and elephants.
That sounds fun. Any adventurous childhood memories, Dan?
By raising my mom and dad and probably doing Special Olympics, and I've been doing it a long time.
Oh, I bet that's fun.
Yeah.
Any adventurous childhood memories?
When I was a kid, my dad would drop my mom off at our house, and we lived next to a golf course. And my dad would put me and my brother in his truck, strap us in really tight, then did donuts.
Wow. I bet that was fun. Any adventurous childhood memories?
The one few childhood memories is of course when I was growing up I had a tough childhood growing up. So a lot of times during my years of school, like every time when there was holidays, I always would have enjoyed vacations up north with my grandparents, and I grew up very close with my cousins, and one of the memories was always like around Christmas, and where I remember a few times when we did trips to the Dells here where we got to stay at different hotels each time. It was a good surprise for us.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And especially whenever I stay at my grandparents' place, we always loved my grandmother's pancakes. She loved to cook.
Any childhood memory and any adventures? Pass. Um, any adventurous childhood memories?
Okay, calf, build a calf, pound a cow, build a calf, have a bowl, put a bowl, calf, we have a calf, build a calf, have a bowl, have a calf, have a bowl, calf, seal calf, meal, have a bowl, meal, calf.
Hey there, my name is Sarah Correa. I was in my grandma Faye, and she died. Yeah, I know, it's sad. And I was on other grandma Sherry, and she died in the heaven. And I got my mom, and I got my dad. That's it. I love you.
All right. I'm gonna keep going.
So, stories are also important to tell because they help build connections. They help build from friendships to being able to talk to your legislatures. As we've said many times, telling your story helps build your personal connection with your legislature. And so therefore, when you sit down to talk to them, now all of a sudden you have their attention, you have their undivided attention because they want to hear more about what the issue at hand is. And I have said this many times. Your own personal story is your biggest tool in the toolbox as far as your advocacy. So I would strongly encourage you to get out there and connect with your legislatures if you haven't already, and start building those connections and building that friendship and circle of trust.
All right. So there's different methods to telling your story or storytelling. You can write books. A lot of self-advocates like to write books so they can share their story in a written form. But you can also make videos. I don't know how many people here know about the Self-Determination YouTube channel, but a lot of people, self-advocates, have shared their story on the Self-Determination YouTube channel. I'm one of the hosts, and Brett also has some videos on there. You can also write social media posts because I have an advocacy page called Sydney's Disability Advocacy Journey, and I write a lot of posts on there, and I also have LinkedIn, which Brett has as well. You can find both of us there, but people see your posts on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, and they want to learn more about you and your story and what you have to share. You can also share your story at conferences like we are today. A lot of people shared their story when we went around the room and talked about childhood adventures. That's one way to share your story in a little snippet.
So, as we kind of said already before, you kind of have to know who your audience is and who you're telling your story to. That's why we kind of went around the room and kind of asked everybody who they were, so we could kind of get a feel for, if we were talking to self advocates, teachers, students, whatever it may be. Knowing your audience is also important. And depending on who your audience is, it may or may not often has an influence on how many details you share. Can be one person, it can be a room full of people like this. But knowing your audience is also very important.
Yeah, audience is very important to keep in mind. Some other benefits of telling your story is motivation. Sometimes people won't be motivated to do something, such as take action on a bill or something that's happening in the legislature, unless they hear a story. People can't count to 1,000,000, but they can hear, feel, and believe what you're telling them when you're telling a story. Another thing is confidence. When you tell your story in a confident way, people will believe it and try to tell their story as well. It's also very empowering and it can build friendships.
So there are many different parts to a story. Not every story, like, and depending on the parts and the pieces to a story, not some parts and some details may get left out. It just depends on the kind of, it kind of goes back to reflecting on your audience and kind of, sharing those sorts of things. There So stories can also be very long and very detailed and or very concise. So just remember to kind of keep all that in mind as you're telling your story to your audience. And one more piece of advice I will give you: try to make eye contact and try to let them know that you are paying attention and you are watching and you are listening. That is another important aspect of it. Otherwise, you may look like you're losing interest. So you can contact us via our emails, or as we said, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have otherwise we have LinkedIn and Facebook, and you can follow our stories there. Does anybody have any follow-up questions for either of us?
And I forgot it passed away last year she died. Jennifer Carr. Yeah.
We're sorry to hear that.
And Lisa too. Yeah, the same thing she has. It's,
Yeah.
You know, yeah, too, she had it. Both got it.
Okay.
I would encourage all the advocates to do what you can to gather your personal story whether that means be through writing it out or videoing it, or just audio recording it, because your story deserves to be told, and you can share it a lot easier if you have it prepared, especially because you add to it and you might forget some things over time, but you can always, your story will always be changing and evolving.
Thank you. Anyone else have any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to say you guys did great, and it will give me motivation for my own presentation tomorrow. So thank you guys.
Well, thank you, Chad. Any other questions or comments?
School work, like going to school for science and computer. I like to do that.
Yeah, those are both important.
Does so does everybody see how telling your story can be important, and all the puzzle pieces have to fit together to make the story complete? Did everybody hear that? Yes. Thank you guys all for coming.